Hey, welcome back to the Blue Collar Off-Road Podcast, episode 211. I'm Graham. I'm here with Luke, Cody, and Richie, and we have Wyatt Green on from Ohio, I think you said?
Yep.
Ohio.
Southeast Ohio.
You have a Jeep. I don't know much about what you exactly have. You're a friend of, oh, geez, we just said his name, and I totally
Kyle.
just blanked. Kyle.
Jesus.
Stalter, right?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's Slater, but
Stalter,
It's-
Slate.
it's Stalter.
Close enough. Okay, see, yeah, look at that. And sounds like you've got some pretty cool stuff going on from what Luke's mentioned, and then we were just talking about
I've
why
sent the
painting a
Instagram
205
over twice.
Yeah, well, I haven't had time to look. I've been busy trying to fix every piece of shit vehicle I own. But making fun of Kyle for painting a 205, which is pointless. It's a pointless endeavor. Just don't.
Yeah.
You don't need to paint it. Mark
gotta
Mims
look
painted
good.
his as well. It's green, but it doesn't matter. Like, you don't need to paint them. Just they look better when they're rusty and ugly, anyways.
Yeah, it's like
And
an
they get
anvil.
lubed up. They get shiny from the oil that leaks out of them, anyways.
Right. Shit.
Yeah, but I guess just kind of hop right into it. Kind of tell us who you are, what you're about, and how you got into wheeling and all that shit.
Name's Wyatt Green, like you said. Probably 2014, I decided to buy a Jeep to drive to work because I had a
Horrible
car. Yeah, I had a car that kept getting stuck in the snow, and I never really. I mean, I went like off-roading in a four-wheeler and stuff, but never went wheeling. And bought that and just drove it. And then buddy bought one, and he was like, "We should go trail riding." I'm like, "Oh, all right." And stock Jeep 31s, and then you quickly realize that is awful. And then
What kind of a stock Jeep here? Because that kind of
it was sorry. It was a 2011 two-door JK, 3.8 minivan engine. Had the good axles, locker, and 4-to-1 case, but just a bone stock. Had 25,000 miles on it when I bought it, and it was just it was a daily. It was to drive to Columbus to work car. So, and then it just spiraled. 35s lead to 38s that lead to 40s that lead to stickies and LS.
Yeah,
And now it's no longer a daily.
Yeah, it hadn't been that in a minute.
It's how that usually goes.
Right. But no, so the snowball, it 35's 3-inch lift kit, and then you realize that it's too short, and then you got to stretch it. And then I had 38-inch Milestar Patagonias, which was
God's
a mistake.
gift to tires.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're terrible. But I did that, and then 40-inch Nittos with Dana 44 axles for a while, and then tons and stretch coilovers, all that, and still factory frame and reds, and I run that for a while. 39 reds.
There you go.
And it was great. It was just that 3.8 was gutless. If it was a 4-liter, I'd probably never change it. It'd probably still be like that.
Nah, fuck 4 liters.
Yeah, dude, you've never had a 3.8, have you?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay.
I
And
will
you
take
think
a
a 4-liter?
3.8 at this fucking point over a 4 liter.
Okay. I couldn't kill the 3.8. I will say that.
Which one was the one that had all the problems? Was that the 3.6 that was just
Yeah,
nonstop
early.
every
issues?
JK engine, they all
The
suck.
early,
Okay.
yeah.
I know they all suck.
3.6.
One of them sucks more than the other. I don't remember which one it was. So
The 3.8 has no power, no
Okay.
torque, but it was like, I mean, I don't know how bad of the
Which is
problems
odd.
were.
because there's no replacement for displacement,
Right?
but
Yeah,
it sounds
exactly.
like they messed something up. That
And
that
then-
just doesn't
yeah.
math.
Right. Then the 3.6, the early 3.6 had a bunch of like overheating issues, but it had made a lot more power. They're all trash. But So anyway, 39 reds and the 3.8 and a manual for ever. And then I went to Good Evening Ranch a couple of years ago with a bunch of buddies that had bouncers. And then I was like, well, I can't do this anymore. And LS, tube chassis, 5.3 with a cam, 4L80.
Oh, you ruined it with the 4L80. I was with you
I
until
knew
4L80.
you were going to say that.
Because
knew you were gonna
you
say
mentioned the menu. You
Yeah.
pointed at the menu. I was like, okay.
Yep.
And then you started doing the listing the LS parts. I was like, he's gonna throw an automatic in there. That's what every fucking person does.
It's the recipe, man.
No, it's not.
It's so much better.
The auto? I don't know. I don't know about that. The LS, yes, I'm sure. The auto though, I'm sorry.
I just like, I don't know, grabbing gears in the hills and stuff is tough with a manual.
I mean, I'll
No.
give you that it's not as easy as just moving the shifter and all of that, but
Right.
I wheeled with a auto for like, I don't know. I started wheeling in 12-ish, and then I think we put my manual in 2019, so like
you had one
7
for a
years.
while.
Yeah.
You're like the opposite of me.
And after, so somewhere in there, I bought the my 2011 3.8 Wrangler in FDE or whatever the fuck they call that color. And it was a manual, and then after that, like, it was just downhill from there. There was a little period of time where I owned the Wheeler was an auto and the truck was an auto. Then we swapped the manual into the Jeep, and I haven't owned everything I bought after that's been manual.
I mean, I'm not a manual hater by any means. I mean, I did it
You
for
bought
years.
a daily driver with a manual in it, right?
No,
it had a
I
manual in
like
it,
a man. Yeah, and before my Duramax that I bought, that I've never had an automatic vehicle. Like all my shit's always been manual. But in the rocks and stuff, man, it's just so much more controllable. I feel like with the auto, to be able to drag the brake the whole time. I don't know. Maybe I never had the right gearing.
It sounds like a gearing problem, personally. But you had a 4-to-1 case, right?
Yeah, 4-to-1 with 538s. It was just
Yeah, that is
Probably
maybe
the
that's
gutlessness of the 3.8.
that
yeah,
could be it.
maybe that's messing with you. I don't know. It's
Because like I couldn't take with reds, I couldn't take off in third. Like if you had to have wheel speed, it didn't have enough power to take off in third.
oh yeah. I mean, I can't do that either.
If you took off in second, it would get, as soon as the tires got traction, the 3.8 would bog and cut power.
Okay, that
So that's a
sucks.
motor problem.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
not a
fixed
gearing
for the
problem.
LS
That's
in
a
it.
motor problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
4.0 I can do. I'm with the doubler. It's a little lower than 4-to-1, which I assume is what you had
Right. Yeah.
in there at the time with the manual. And I can do second gear. I can start in second on a hill without issues, and it'll maintain. But third gear is a no go. But I can see if second was if you can't bump it in any gear on a hill in a manual, then yeah, you're kind of missing a key factor. So,
And
sucks.
it's just southeast wheeling too. Like, it could be the driest, best time ever where you never get out of first gear, or it's a beatdown the whole time. Like, you know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So,
there
I
is
don't know.
absolutely zero in between. It's either you're gonna have a good weekend or you're gonna have a shit weekend.
For sure.
For traction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Better
But
time on the shitty weekends.
It's kind of fun until you got to clean it.
You do that? You don't just like park it outside and wait for the rain to wash the mud
Matt
off?
doesn't clean off that mud.
No, yeah, it
You
doesn't.
of all people know that, Luke.
I do. I'm just fucking being lazy about it because my Jeep just gets thrown in the back corner and forgotten about.
No, I guess I'm one of them guys that as soon as it comes home on the trailer, I always unload it and power wash it.
I need to get better about cleaning it because it sucks to work on if it's dirty.
Yeah.
But, you know, hey,
Drop in the skid plate and you eat a whole pie of mud.
yes. And my skid plate, like, it's doofy, so you have to hang one side, then hang the other side.
Mm.
'Cause it hangs in there at an angle, so, like, it just dumps mud. And, of course, nothing's sealed under my rig at this point. The 241 leaks, the AX15 leaks, and all
The
of
mud
that.
keeps
so
it
you
in.
get- yeah,
It sticks, holds it in there.
yeah, you
Nice.
get this, like, lovely, you know, coal
So you don't even
mud
know if
now.
it's leaking.
Yeah. But it's fine. The Jeep's good. Just overfill everything, and then it'll be broken by the time that it's empty.
I will say I do not miss the simplicity, or I miss the simplicity of the manual. I've had nothing but issues with this 4080. Just like
You don't
just
say.
dumb shit.
What
That's
are you
one nice
running?
thing about it.
What are you running? Like for shifter or for a shifter, and I guess
It's a
what's going on.
it's a Winners
Okay.
Rockgate Delio, and then like a 2500 stall, and then other than that, it's pretty much just a stock 4L80. There's nothing done to it.
So, does that have the transmission control integrated into the LS power plant's wiring, or is that
Mhm.
separate?
No,
Okay.
it's all on the GM computer.
All right, so you're running just the normal GM harness that's been cut down basically into the 4L80?
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, when I showed up at Kyle's shop, he's like, "Yeah, there's someone here that I want you to meet." And I'm like, "All right, whatever. It's a friend of Kyle's. He's going to be cool." And then there's just that fucking your JK parked sideways in the shop as I come strolling in. I'm like, "Oh, fuck. That's some like actually really fucking nice fab work."
He was like,
Holy
he's like,
shit.
just drive it down here. I'm like, I don't have a fucking windshield, dude. And he's like, you got it. It's fine. I was like, it doesn't have tags, nothing. So I mean, because I don't live in town at all, and so that was the first time I even drove it on the road, and then we hung out there all day, and then I drove it to the restaurant, and we had beers and food. So like, probably a terrible idea, but it's fine.
I'm sad that I missed the after party there, but I had to get rolling.
Oh, that's understandable. Long drive.
Yeah, I had 8.5 hours till I got home, and it ended up taking me right at 8.5.
Mm.
So it wasn't terrible, but I can also understand why you don't want to have your anniversary down at the meet and beat.
Right. Yeah, I was bummed about that. But I was looking because last year it was like right the same time. I'm like, man, hopefully they don't do it the same time this year, and then exact right date where I can't make it, but it is what it
It'd be
is.
like that.
It is
So just
what
call
it
out
is.
of work or whatever.
See, that's
It's
Uh,
an
it's-
anniversary.
Yeah, it's me and
Call
my
out of
that.
anniversary.
Just call out of that.
yeah, just
Yeah.
call in sick.
I
for
tried to
that.
tell her that she would have a lot of fun down there. She'd love it.
Mm.
See,
She didn't buy that.
Nah, she didn't buy that.
What you got to do is get a nice hotel close to it.
dude, I don't think there is nice hotels close to that.
Nah, I've been down there. There's nothing nice.
Yeah, there's like
I don't know,
kind of
Airbnb.
okay.
If you go
that's
all the way to
actually-
Chattanooga, maybe, but I mean that's a haul.
you could,
Yeah, that
you might
ain't
be able to
worth
find a
Just
decent
tell her that you're
Airbnb.
going out to the ice machine.
She's been with me for 10 years. She knows.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be like me trying to be like, "Hey, Morgan, I'm not going to AOP this weekend. Don't worry about it." That ain't gonna happen. So
So I'm excited to hear about these axles. Luke has been kind of jerking off in the corner about these axles since
it
you
wasn't
hopped in this
so
chat.
much the axles; it was
Okay.
the fucking tube frame because
Okay.
it is immaculate.
I thought the whole point of having a framed vehicle is you don't need to tube chassis it because it's strong.
Yes.
Oh
But
my god.
it gives you a lot of restraints. You know,
Uh-huh.
you're off of what Chrysler Fiat gave you.
That's fair.
So, I don't know, man. I wasn't gonna do it, and then I just started cutting motor mounts and like too many cutoff wheels blew up in my face, and I just said, "Fuck it." I dropped the frame out from under it and just built a new one.
So you got
And-
angry at your misuse of angle grinder wheels, and you took it out on the Jeep. Got it.
Yeah,
Now do you
that's pretty much it.
understand why I like this dude?
It's set in my head. I'm like, it'd be faster for me to build my own chassis than it would be to cut off all this bullshit and grind it smooth and weld new shit on there.
And then you're stuck with a fucking JK frame
And
afterwards.
it's still just another JK with an LS in it.
See, but just think now it's worth what it is in scrap, and at least you got like $20 back for it. That ain't
Right.
bad.
Right. And
So
now, yeah, it's probably terrible idea, but I did it.
So, did you keep the center section, or did you go full?
No, it's full tube chassis.
Damn. Okay, that's actually pretty baller. That's wow. Good
How-
shit, man.
How did you? I guess
Start?
I know you mentioned that it would be easier than cutting all the shit off the frame to make that work with whatever you were doing. Was this for cage or just what?
Well, just
prompted
like I
that?
wanted better separation on the links on the front and the
Gotcha.
rear.
Okay. So you
So
were
I'm
trying
looking
to.
into that,
Yep.
and like, there's just nowhere to put them.
Mhm.
And then I'm looking at cutting all the factory mounts off for the engine and doing all that, and then up travel on the front frame. It doesn't come up high enough, so your axle can't stuff that high. Especially if you take your front links out. You
Mhm.
take your front links out to your sliders with a factory frame. You run into a lot of problems with your uppers hitting the frame.
Yep.
Yeah, I
So-
know Joseph Carr just had Tyson's Jeep in there, that black JK that was on Reds. And he did the front four link on that, and he ended up having to cut a massive chunk out of the frame rails to get that all to play nicely.
Yeah, the JK frame is huge. I mean, it's beefy and strong, but it's just in the way for a lot of things.
Mm.
So I just kind of like put the tub up on the lift and just started running tubes where I thought they'd go and tacking them into place. And it's probably not square or plumb or straight or anything, honestly, but
You can only
It
look at it
looks-
from one side at a time.
right.
Yes.
So
Set the laser up on the floor and just kind of hope that you're doing something.
Oh no! So you didn't even have like a frame table or anything that you like squared up. You just went literally off the concrete.
It's squared up off of the body. Like
Oh, okay.
the
okay.
body, the tub was on the lift. So the chassis was built off of the tub, like from the tub down. Like I made tabs that bolt off of the top rail of the tube chassis to the tub. So I made that square first, bolted it to the tub, and then built off that. So it didn't really matter as long as it's built off the tub. So unless the tub's fucking twisted in half, which it might be, then it is fit to the tub.
I mean, that's not a bad way of going about it. At least you know everything's gonna line it up because
Right.
you made it line up prior. So it's not a terrible idea because then you could have fucked yourself in the end if you did go square to what should be a JK body.
Mm-hmm.
Now at least you're like, nah, fuck all that. It's going to fit.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'm not running some like high-end operation over here. I'm an electrician during the days and just come out here with a tube bender and a welder at night. So
I'll
there's
put
no
it like
rocket
this.
science.
It looks good enough that you can't tell that it's been or had a tube chassis built under it until you get close to it and start looking at it, and then everything looks like it belongs under there.
That's sick.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think it did turn out good. There's definitely a lot of nights staring at it, wondering why I was doing it, and how projects go. You start out real sweet, real stoked on it, and then like midway you get mad.
Yeah, and then there's
And-
you're just
yeah.
why the fuck did I do this?
Yep. You do that for like a good section of it until you can see the light, and then you're on the downhill, and then it's good again.
Yep. It's usually how it goes.
I actually end up hating the end of the project more than I hate the beginning or the middle.
That's just the last 10%. You just don't do that.
Yeah.
You just don't do that part because usually it's not
It's
important.
very obvious that I have not done the last 10%. It is exceptionally obvious that I always miss the last 10% because there's always a trip next weekend that I'm trying to make.
It's understandable. The last
Maybe
10 does suck.
Maybe it's the 20%. Maybe you just have a higher or less of a tolerance for the percentage of work in a project. I don't know.
So with your setup, the part that I found pretty cool about it is it seems like it's just a JK on the interior. The interior is very well like as creature comforted, if you will. I'm not sure if the heat and the AC and everything work, but all of the dash panels are still there. All of that shit is like it's like you sat in a normal JK with comfier seats, but then it's got 43 stickies, full hydro, tube frame.
Yeah, I tossed around the idea of building like, your own dash and all that. But I kind of wanted it to still resemble what it started at. When you go custom dash and stuff, it's like full race car. So like I gutted the dash and reused all the panels and like filled them in with the new like my aux beam is in the center where the radio used to be to control all my fans and stuff, and then like where the cluster was is where my tuner is that reads out all the important shit. So but all the panels are there and the dash is still there. The center console is still there. I put the winner shifter inside that. So yeah, I repurposed a lot of the stuff.
Did you use like a painless harness, or how did you tie the body side wiring back in? Because it's got working brake lights and all that.
It's just I just created my own harness and wired the brake lights and stuff are all just run off of a brake switch that I installed on the brake and then fed it with its own fuse. Nothing from the JK works at all. There's none of that. But like the GM computer is just a GM harness that's cut down just to run the engine, and then I created like wired my own harness for everything else, like fans, lights, all that junk.
Well, the engine bay was fairly clean. That's why I was asking about that. And then
it's all under the dash, or under the glove where the heater core was is where everything's at.
All right, so it's completely lost all the heat and AC and everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Does it still fit a soft top?
No. Maybe, but I just destroy them every time. I've got 3 sitting in the barn that are destroyed, so I just kind of quit. The back windshield won't zip in on some of them, but I can get like 3/4 of a soft top. But they just don't live very long.
Yeah. Even if you like stretch it in the sun, you think you could get it to kind of pop back on, or is it just that far gone?
I just find myself on trees and they just don't. The last time I put one on, I laid it over and just teared the whole driver's side off of it.
Oh Jesus Christ!
It's just they're just I don't know. It's a creature comfort that I just gave up on.
No, honestly, that makes sense though. They're kind of expensive for what they are, and if you're just gonna beat the shit out of them, then it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, at this point, if it's not 40+ degrees, it's probably not coming out anyway. So
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. You're like gonna be wheel. I mean, I guess in the rain it would be kind of nice, but you could also just like a bikini top and call it a day. So
that's actually on my list for the winter. Is I'm gonna skin the cage and put a metal roof on it.
Ooh, shit! You'd be pulling a Nick. Fuck! Oh my god! I just blanked on Nick's last name. That's terrible of me. Fuck.
Like Little Red XJ Nick.
Yes, dude. That's so
Jonar.
terrible. That is fucking terrible that I forgot his last name, Nick. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
well,
That's
fuck
my
him.
fault.
He's a jackass.
I know, but I shouldn't be forgetting his fucking last name. That's terrible.
Eh.
But either way, I think he still has his little. He has like a makeshift roof on his. I'm pretty sure. Or either way, I like that idea. It's similar to like our friend Miguel's, where he still has the stock Cherokee roof skinned onto his like extra
I
buggy
love
thing.
that.
Me too.
Yeah,
I
that's
think it's just
good.
cool. It's like a little homage to like what was. I don't know. I like it.
And it keeps the rain off you, so
Yeah.
it's a win-win, really.
That's the reason I like my roof and still
Right.
have my roof. It keeps the rain away. And
Mhm.
it also stops the mud from falling directly on top
Oh,
of
yeah.
your head.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't stop it from coming in through the windows to get you or the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it rained. We went to GMP in October, and it rained, and it was awful. That place goes to shit quick in the rain. It's
So-
similar to AOP.
I'm curious, what was the most annoying part about building the custom frame, like with the JK body? Like, what was the worst part that you wish you could kind of go back to again and do again now that you already know the tricks?
I don't know. I just wish I was probably a better fabricator, really. But other than that, I mean, it really wasn't like getting the rails built and everything was a lot simpler than you think. I mean, you just have it's like two 90s to get you up, and then a flat piece across the tub, and then up in the back. I mean, bending it and fabbing it wasn't really that bad. It was just the welding it out and doing all that. I mean, that wasn't really that bad either. I don't know. It was more the last 10% that was the shitty part. The wiring, the plumbing,
Yeah.
the like building the chassis wasn't that bad.
No, the tube work
it's
is
pretty
never
fun.
that bad.
No, it's
It's-
great. Yeah.
I think that's the misconception a lot of people have who haven't done a lot of tube work is
It
they think
sounds
that's the
scary
hard
for
part.
sure.
It's this big undertaking, but the tube work is the fun part,
Mhm.
and then it's all the shit you have to do afterwards that takes
Yep.
all the time and sucks.
Yep. And then like I don't have deep pockets, so I don't
Yeah.
have like it's not powder coated or anything, so like painting it sucks. Painting's
Mhm.
terrible.
Yeah.
Painting just in general is such a
Right.
tedious process.
I mean, there's probably weeks out here just like sanding it down. Had a Harbor Freight sandblaster trying to like clean it all up because I'd been working on it for months and it had surface rust all over it.
Yeah.
So you do that and then prime it and then paint it and then clear and then you take it out one time and it looks like shit and you're like, why did I even paint it ever?
And
So-
that is why I buy every couple months 2 cans of Rust-Oleum blue, and eventually
go.
the whole Jeep will be the same color.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought it was Home Depot blue.
It's Rust-Oleum navy blue. It's available at Home Depot and Walmart.
What about Lowe's? Not Lowe's blue?
Not
Is that
Lowe's
different?
blue.
Hmm.
I
It's
don't know.
weird that Home Depot sells blue.
I will say, I guess that'd be a good time to use Steal It, right? Like
Oh yeah.
using
No,
a
no, no, no,
primer
no.
Did
that
you ever price that?
Yeah, not for $50
I-
a can or whatever
it's
ungodly
50
price
bucks
they
a
want.
can. I've never.
It might
actually
not be
bought
that
any.
bad, but it's like
Okay.
It's not that bad, but I bet it's 20.
Mhm.
I'm
okay, but if you
Googling it
could-
now.
But like, I mean, in reality, what's that? 2 cans, and then you don't have to worry about it rusting. I guess that's not terrible.
Oh, dude, I had
This
every bit of
specific-
20 cans of paint in the chassis. Easy.
Jesus Christ!
A
Easy.
2-pack of Steal It, by the way, is $59.
Right.
$30
Yeah.
a can.
30
What if
bucks a
you
can.
$30
do
fucking
what-
dollars a can.
Hold on, but what if you do what the product tells you to do and steal it, and then it's free?
Oh.
Okay.
I'm just saying, guys. Okay,
Now we're on to something.
it's literally telling you to do it. It's the advertisement on the can. I mean, I feel like you could get away with that.
I
I
like
just-
the concept of it. I've never used it.
I don't know. I feel like that'd be the only time that maybe it'd be worth it because it would save you in the end. But still, that'd still
So-
be a pain in the balls.
I'm
You
gonna
can probably
quote
find
one
a
of
cheap
the.
weld through primer though. You don't need to use Steal It. There's other
Mhm.
options, I'm sure, but they're just expensive.
Yep, I'm gonna quote one of the other good JK people out there. Everything that we
There's
do in
good
this
JK
sport,
people.
yeah, I'd say Sam's pretty okay.
Chris Ioshawa, is that the one we're talking about?
Sam Turker, Chris Ayasha,
Okay.
those are the ones that come to
Okay.
mind.
Yeah, but Turker had a JL, so
No, he had a JK.
wait, what the fuck? His was a JK?
What is wrong
Yeah.
with you? You're just
Okay, first off,
striking out.
it was half chopped up and barely resembled any.
You could still
Wrangler,
tell it was the
okay?
JK.
Sorry, I don't jerk off to Wranglers. I didn't know the exact body model. My bad. My bad, guys. God, wasn't like I was like, oh yeah, that thing's a fucking JL, and like, no, it's actually a CJ. You fucking retard. Like, it's a little close. My bad. Anyways, go ahead, Luke. Sorry.
Everything that we do for rock crawlers is fucking stupid because we always try and destroy it afterwards. It's not like building a nice like street car where you put nice parts in there because you want them to stay nice. No, we put nice parts in there because we're gonna go and drag them over rocks. So
Oh yeah.
the cheapest possible spray paint that you can grab is probably the best because
Mhm.
rocks don't give a fuck.
Yeah, cheaping out where you can is definitely a good idea. And
Yeah,
on primer,
paint is that's
that's probably one of those good spots to
Oh,
cheap
yeah.
out. Oh shit. That's why I always love the fucking people who are like powder coating their shit. And it's just like, why? Like, there's just no fucking need. Unless you're Colin, right? And he's learned how to do it at home. Kind of a different story, right? It's worth it if you're just kind of fucking around doing it. But I
yeah,
don't
if you
know.
got a hookup on it or you do it, I get it. Or if
Logan
you're
does it.
I don't know.
Logan does it, but there's no point in like powder coating a cage or anything. You're just gonna lay it up against rocks, and when you dent powder coat, unlike when you dent paint, it comes off in like big chips.
Yeah.
If
Well,
it's done incorrectly, if it's done correctly, it's actually supposed to like stretch and not like crack. It's supposed to like conform. Weirdly enough, that's why it's considered bad with like with certain motorsports, like with street bikes and shit like that. You're not supposed to powder coat your frames because it'll sometimes stretch over cracks in the material, and you might not see cracks. Just a little thing. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh.
I never heard that. Every time I've dealt with powder coat, it's always, wherever the bolts in the part go through, it rips all the powder coat off, and then it rots right there and goes right under all the powder coat, and then 2 years later you have no powder coat, and now it's just spray painted $1 can flat black.
Yep. If you just start there, you avoid all that.
Yeah. Shitty paint takes rock chips like a champ because it just gets rid of a tiny spot. Not
You're
the whole
actually-
thing over
No,
a year.
you want to know what the most diesel paint I've ever come across is? Whatever was on that 44 that you gave me, Graham. Bro, that shit, even with a flat disc and a grinder, did not come off. I don't know what that shit was, but it was the most diesel thing I've ever come across.
It was bad. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think that's POR. Very well applied.
Yeah, like it was done in a temperature.
Because I had to grind a
controlled
bunch of that off for the truss, and it was not
Fuck that.
pretty. It was a
That shit
mess.
is tough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like it was impressive how insane that shit was on there. Mind
But that stuff has the same problem. It's if something gets under it, if it's not prepped properly, stuff gets under it, and then it doesn't do the job.
All right, so you're telling me Luke's right, and we should all just go with the Krylon blue cheapo.
Well, I mean, if you're in
And
if
not
you live in a place
cheaper.
that's
It doesn't have to be blue, but yes.
if you live somewhere where things get rusty, it doesn't make sense to put these fancy coatings on them that are just going to chip off in big flakes because you're just fucking yourself. You're better off like with something that's going to be area. If something hits an area, it doesn't fuck up the whole coating. It's just that one spot, and then you can go back over it if you want to, if it matters, right? You still have to prime it, like you have to do work to make the paint stick. Because if the paint doesn't stick, then it's the same issue. You probably using the paint primer combo. I don't know.
Yeah. You buy paint without the primer in it? I mean, fuck, man. I won't just be able to walk by, not even like really look at it, spray the side where, whatever stupid thing I've hit is, and then throw the can in the back of the Jeep and wait for it to hit me in the head at some point in time.
There
If
you
I'm
go.
working on something that's like bare metal, like it's clean metal, I'll throw like a good primer or a self-etching primer on it. I've never had issues with that. If I've had problems with just going bare metal to cheapy flat black. I've had issues with that.
It doesn't. It'll like bubble up and like fisheye real bad.
Yeah, or it just doesn't hold up to like the
So
whatever
just
chloride
throw
crap
on
on the road.
another couple fucking layers. Fuck, that's what I do. If it looks shitty after the first like coat or two, I just add another couple coats and we're good.
Oh my god.
Can you tell that you're talking to Cherokee people yet?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we haven't mentioned ducks once yet. I mean, he's probably in a whole new world. It's probably freaking him out.
Oh man! Yeah, I got a bunch of those.
The funny part is that his Jeep is like also close enough to looking like a nice JL because he's got that different front end on there that it looks like a really nice Jeep until you start looking at the parts underneath it, and then it's like, oh shit, this is a buggy with a JKL whatever the fuck skin. It's cool.
Fuck
Yeah, it does have a JL grill on it, but that was yeah. It does, like, if I do run the windshield on it, it does kind of. If you just didn't look at the 43s, it kind of does look normal. But when you roll down the road with the 43s, people don't, you know.
Yeah, they look. They notice
Yeah.
it for sure. All right, so from the area that you're in, I actually don't know many parks that are in that area. Where's like your common stomping grounds for wheeling?
I mean, there's nothing real good. I'm on a lease on a property in Athens County that's like Southern Ohio. We got like 200 some acres down there that we wheel. It's just private park. But it's just more or less like a like a shakedown place when you take it out and after you do something, take it there first. And then pretty much we just go everywhere else. West Virginia, I can get to like Hatfield McCoy and like Ivy Branch in like under 2 hours.
Oh
How
shit, that
is
ain't bad.
Ivy Branch?
It's awesome. It's great.
That's something that I've always wanted to go and do. I don't
It's great.
know that area well enough, and that's
Yeah, just let me know. I'll take you around. I've been there a bunch. It's good. It's not like it's not a party park or place at all because it's run by the state of West Virginia, and like if you have beer, they'll write you a DUI.
Oh shit.
So it is definitely like we usually just run day trips there. It's so close that we'll get up early, go wheel all day, and then drive home. I've heard guys getting $50 a beer, like every can, $50 fines.
Woo.
And like, so they don't play with that. But it is a great. Ivy Branch has a lot of good rock crawling, and then Good Evening Ranch is
Good Evening
another.
Ranch.
The name
Another.
we do not name.
Right. That one's somewhat close. So go there, and then Rush in Kentucky.
Yeah,
is-
that was what I was gonna mention. Was if you
Yeah,
go to Rush often.
I do in the Razor, the Jeep. It's not a very good rock crawling park, but like if you just
Okay.
want to like get drunk and rip a Razor, it's sweet. It's really
Well,
cool for that.
If you're ever, or I should say this, hit up Bronco-ish on Instagram next time you're going up there. He's pretty close to that area.
Isn't he like Cincinnati area?
He is.
He was Columbus area. I could have.
No, he's
Oh, okay.
closer to like Kentucky.
So
his
yeah, that
girlfriend,
is. Yeah.
his girlfriend, fiance. I'm not exactly sure. I apologize. But she lives near Rush. So
Okay.
Honestly, shame on you for not knowing his marital status. Jesus, Luke, bad friend. Bad
I
friend.
know. I can
Fucking
tell you
nerd.
more about his rig than I can tell you about his marital status.
I saw that. I follow him on Instagram. He was just up my way. I need to like reach out to him because I've never met him. But there's a park real close to me called Beaver Beater, which is a wild name.
That's a great name.
Was that the one that we were talking about at the
Yeah,
shop?
yeah.
Wasn't that
It's-
Graham's
it's
nickname in high
gnarly.
school? The Beaver Beater. Oh Jesus.
Yeah, it's the best wheeling that I've done in Ohio for sure.
Oh shit. Okay.
But I
I'm pretty
haven't been
sure-
to Wellsville either. So I heard Wellsville's great.
Yeah, Wellsville is the shit according to Tony Carnes and a couple other people we know.
I was gonna say a few other people have mentioned Wellsville. I think Josie has before, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure that was
Josie
like one of her
has-
go-tos.
Yeah, it's legit, I guess. I'm supposed to be going in April, so we'll see.
Damn, there you go.
Also, if you end up going to Harlan, hit up Logan. He knows that park really fucking well.
Okay.
We're going at some point in time once the temperatures start rising.
Right.
Probably just gonna grab a cabin up there, and then
Yeah,
I know we
I've
were
yet to
talking
be
about
there.
it.
I've been to Windrock, AOP, GMP, but I for some reason have skipped over Black Mountain.
We had a bad time at Black Mountain when we first went, and I've been meaning to go back, but I just haven't made my way back up there, and it's now been like, what, 3 fucking years at this point?
Has it really been that long since you guys were at
Yeah.
Black Mountain? Holy shit.
It's been
Jesus.
a fucking hot minute.
There's a lot of good parks in Kentucky. Like that southern eastern part by Tennessee and stuff. They got that Black Mountain and that new Leatherwood Park supposed to be giant.
That's
man.
another one that I wanted to go and check out.
Yep.
It's just, with the size of that park, I don't know of anyone that knows it yet.
Right.
And when I go there, I want to go there in like a small group of dudes, 4 or 5 rigs max, just so that way we can go and see the park.
For sure. I've only met one guy that's been there, and he said that it needs a couple years. That like it's so new, and the trails just haven't they haven't explored the property enough.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. It's also, isn't it bigger than Windrock?
Yeah, I want to say
Jesus.
like 150,000.
God damn.
Might
Holy
want to
shit.
check me, but I mean, Windrock's 75,000. I know it's bigger than Windrock, so it's big.
Fucking
And it
get-
runs right into Black Mountain. I guess they're like right down the road from each other.
Oh, no shit. That means that it's 3 hours and shit.
Yeah.
Maybe. Fuck.
Yeah, I guess they
250 miles of trails already. It is 50,000 acres,
Oh shit. Okay.
according
Well,
to their website.
little off, but not bad.
add 100 to it, dude. Fuck it.
Dude,
Yeah.
even 50,000 is crazy. Like that's so fucking. That's a lot. That's a ton.
There's supposed to be one. There's one like Tennessee Kentucky border, like Royal Blue. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
I have.
It's supposed to be huge too, right? Like ginormous.
I haven't been there. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just going over Leatherwood's website right now because, like, hey, I'm here.
Oh, you're good.
Honestly, their prices for wheeling are not bad at all. 3-day permit is $57.
What? That's
Yeah, that's
dirt
not bad.
cheap. Jesus.
Like,
That's one like Hatfield McCoy. Like if any of you guys make it down there or whatever, it's $50 for the year.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
damn.
not bad at all.
Roush is $50 for the day.
And you have to buy a membership.
Wait, is
also,
that?
I have to call
you're
them
right.
It's
Why?
way more than 50.
because they asked us to call them for next year.
Fine. Ugh. I guess we'll
Yeah.
do the
Is
right
that where you guys are?
thing.
Is that where you guys are going?
Yeah.
We're not sure yet, but most likely. We have to sit down and talk about it, but this year they were super accommodating and super cool with it, and I don't think we had any issues, so I'm fine with going back there. It's kind of like in a nice central location like Good Evening Ranch was as well.
Right.
But I definitely am gonna try and make a trip to Leatherwood this year. An annual
We've
pass
talked
there.
about that one a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, let
An
me know,
annual
dude.
pass
I
is
wouldn't mind.
$100.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fucking wild.
Not if you only go once.
Well, if you only go once, yeah, but it's 3 hours away from me, so let's see. Their rules are pretty reasonable. They have the obvious no drinking rules and behave yourself in the campgrounds, but
They all say that.
No, that's sick. That sounds really cool. Cool to find new big parks in areas that you're like, oh shit, that's like 10 minutes down the road. What the fuck? We don't get that very often here in New England.
Yeah, how is that? So like my mom's side, my whole mom's side of the family lives up there. So like I grew up going up to Manchester, New Hampshire my whole life, like once a year. And I was up there this summer and
Oh, what the
I
fuck?
just
Should have
yeah,
let us know.
yeah. I didn't have any shit with me, but like is there wheeling for like a random dude, or is it like you have to be a part of the stuff?
There is wheeling for random people, but it is sparse and far and in between. Like, there's public access would be like class 6 roads up in like New Hampshire, Maine, stuff like that. But
Okay.
you do that on like an XJ and 35. So like that's about
Right.
your limitations of, and honestly that might even be overkill. You can get away with certain like open runs but then you're not necessarily a random dude, because then you're kind of keeping track of like dates and shit like that, and you're already kind of in NEA forums at that point, so you're not really a random guy. But in reality, not really. Like, you kind of have to know people who are in clubs that are part of the NEA to experience any actual like good trail systems in New England.
Isn't there like only one or two actual off-road parks that are like open to the public in New England?
Well, you have the fucking one in Maine that Graham used to go to when he was younger. Rocky Mountain Terrain Park.
Rocky Mountain.
So we have Rocky Mountain,
Rocky
and
Mountain's a
then,
good time.
but I think that's it.
Is
Yeah,
that decent, or is it?
That's a Graham
Rocky
question.
Mountain's a good time. I haven't been there in a while, but I mean, if you're looking for like a no rules park in New England, that's probably one of the only. And I don't know if anything's changed, but when I went up there, it was pretty much whatever goes. But I mean, otherwise, I mean, you just have to.
So Field and Forest is like private.
Field and
Yeah,
Forest
Field
is
and Forest
private.
is private, and it's it's really only open. They just run a lot of events there too, so it's like it's tough to have weekends. The weekends available to go to Field and Forest are kind of, I don't want to say few and far between, because I mean
they get booked up real quick.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of like, is a weekend that you can actually wheel at Field and Forest have space for a club to invite you? Does that club like know you, or like even if maybe they necessarily didn't know you in person, like you could still probably hit someone up in one of those clubs and be like, hey, I'm coming up, and all this stuff, and you could probably find an in through something like that. That'd be the way to do it if you're an out of stater or out of towner.
It just seems so foreign to me.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is different.
It's crazy. It's just crazy that you can't. But I mean,
it sounds weird, but like, I don't know. If you live here, it's not really that bad, because everybody wheels around here. We all know each other. So like, if people are going somewhere, people always throw invites around.
Yeah, there's a couple of dudes that are just like not in clubs, but are friends with everyone that is in the club, and they just kind of tag along.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's if you're looking to go for the weekend, it's probably not the best area of the country without planning the trip out with
Right.
people.
Unless you're doing side by side stuff, then you can get away with it because then there's a ton of public trails throughout like
Yep.
New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine.
Right.
So you could get away with that pretty easily as a random guy for sure.
Is that all like so? Like the side by side trails are like state owned stuff.
Mm-hmm. All state owned, but there is a lot of them. So for like the average person getting into just like off-roading in general, just across the board, side by sides are definitely the way to go. But you won't have the same experience that you would down south. It's very similar to like what we would like snowmobiling up here, just with side by side. So just long trails, trail maps, and different shit like that. But it's a good time in itself. It's a great time.
Yeah, I'm new to the old side by side world. It's not bad. I bought it for the family to haul the kids around and stuff because rock crawling and like little kids don't mix very well.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Is it like? I mean, I don't know. They don't want to be upside
Good
down.
way to get shaken baby syndrome.
Yeah, they don't want to be upside down. They just want to cruise down the green trails. And cruising down the green trails in a rock crawler isn't the funnest thing.
No, generally they're a little bit a little bit rough
Right.
for it.
Right.
But yeah, it's I guess like as Graham was saying, we're used to it because that's what we grew up doing now. Or not grew up doing necessarily, but like that, when we started, that's what we just got used to. But for somebody who lives down south or Midwest where they could just kind of go to any park, pay a fee, and they're ready to go, yeah, you don't have that around here almost at all.
Right.
And it's weird. It's definitely weird. It does create community, which is a little bit cool. Like, you join the groups, but you don't necessarily have to meet these people. But when you do, you tend to meet a ton of people because it's like you just easily find the like-minded people. So
No, I get that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah, because like you can be into off road down here and go to a park by yourself or maybe one buddy for your whole life, and if you're never in a group, that's it.
yeah,
But up
that
there,
sounds crazy.
and it's all meeting people. This whole fucking hobby is just about meeting people and learning things, and
Mm-hmm.
asking this guy a question to help you out, and that's what this whole thing's about, really. So
Hell yeah.
So I have to ask, how the hell did you end up in the back of a packaging facility with the Stalter and Drew?
that's very strange because
The old haul and crawl experience, if you will.
yeah. So like I was mentioned earlier, I'm on a lease on some land in Athens, and there's 20 of us, and we have an open ride every month. So we're down there for our open ride, and usually it's a lot of like XJs on 33s that
Oh
are
Jesus.
just and like most of the time we're just dragging people out of the woods, and like it's just a shit show most of the time. Either XJs on 33s ripping steering boxes off the unibody frame shit, or like side by side guys rolling their junk. But that this specific weekend, I think it was like August maybe last year, we're all sitting at the gazebo, and the trailer's pulling up with Drew's Jeep on it. I'm like, yeah, damn, that doesn't look like a XJ on 33s. And they come over and start talking to us, and I'd never met either of those guys. And they were like talking, looking at my shit, and we're get to talking, and they're like, yeah, we're from Lancaster. I'm like, no way, I live in Lancaster. And that was just like we were almost neighbors and just never met each other because there's, like I was just saying before, there's no groups, or there's no NEA here, so like you don't know if your neighbor's into wheeling.
Yeah, you kind of only find that out by meeting them there.
Right. Yep. So they were at the park that I'm a part of and met them, and it was just all from there. So like I've only known Kyle for a little bit, but he's a good dude.
He is funny as fuck. He is
Yeah,
one of
he
the
is.
best hearted people you're ever gonna meet.
Oh, for
He just
sure.
can't fucking get out of his own way to save his life, and I love making fun of him for it.
Oh, he's definitely attracted to like danger. He's always getting hurt, dude.
He's always getting hurt, and he's always. You never know what you're going to get, right? Like, sometimes he'll just call me up and be like, "Hey, man, how you doing? Haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're doing well." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, that's fucking awesome."
Yeah.
And then other times it'll be like, "Yeah, so I want to cut out XYZ part of my Jeep, like a cross member." And you're like, "Okay, cool, whatever. Send me a picture of what you're talking about."
Yeah.
Sends you a picture of a factory XJ cross member in between two factory XJ frame rails with nothing else there.
Oh God.
Dude, when you showed up and you're eating him alive on that thing, and that was the best.
I felt bad because, like, I was making fun of him, then I was making fun of Drew. I walk over to your shit, and I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking JK. It's a piece of shit. Anyways, back to making fun of Kyle.
Yeah. Oh shit.
But I do
I
that
hope
just
he gets
because
his thing. I hope he gets his done this year. I know he's got a baby coming soon, so I'm sure that's gonna put the brakes on a little bit.
that's why I've been bullying him relentlessly about it, because he's got like a solid, what, 6 months, Kyle, before you're fucking out of the sport entirely. So, like, we want to see it on its own fucking weight.
Right. Drew's building an LS for that TJ he's got.
Yeah, when I came down, there was just nothing but LSs in that fucking shop. I think there was 3 of them or 4 of them,
Yep.
and then that's not
That-
counting what was in vehicles already.
Right. Yeah, and then there's that like white tube chassis YJ sitting there. It's getting that dude. I haven't met him yet. They always talk about him, but I guess he's building some like 750 horse LS. He wants 500 to a 43 on the dyno. I'm like, God damn!
Jesus.
Like, what do you need all that for, bud?
Holy fuck, he's ready to party. God
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah,
I'm really
that's-
curious as to what the parasitic loss on that's going to be. I don't see him doing that and managing to put out that horsepower at a 43. It's just
Mine did on the dyno. It did 255 to the 43.
see, now that's fucking reasonable.
Right, right. It was 255 and 330 foot pounds.
So that's probably what, 4 something at the actual crank.
I would say. I mean, I would say it's if it's not 50, maybe a little less percent
Yeah.
loss.
Because you're running
It's a
slush
5.3.
box.
Yeah, 5.3 with a truck Norris cam 480, and then it had a 241 Chevy case in it. But I just ordered an Atlas a couple weeks ago, so
How'd the 241C hold up? Pretty well.
yeah, it's good. I just need more. It needs the crawl ratio is not there enough. I feel like my trans is working a little too hard. It just gets a little hot with the 4L80's first gear is shit, whatever the number is on it, but it's terrible. So that behind a 272 case, it's just
Not enough.
It's just not enough. So
It's not the first time I've heard that.
right. And then Kyle was trying to get me to buy a behemoth case.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
damn,
that's what he
man.
does.
Have you ever priced those things?
Yeah.
They're crazy.
Yeah, I've priced those things. We talked to Cam Beasley a while ago. He's sponsored by them. They build really, really nice fucking shit. It's just they're very proud of their nice shit, and they are charging to let you have the privilege of owning it.
No, I get it, and I don't doubt the quality at all. But
Some of that was sarcasm. A lot of that was sarcasm.
for a I don't know. I got a Atlas 2 with a 3.8 to 1 shipped to the door for $3,075
That's not
So-
bad at all. With shifters?
with shifters. Yep.
Yeah, that's It's not unreasonable for a brand new case.
Right. I mean, when you're looking at like the price of them on marketplace are $2,000, $2,500. So it'd be stupid to buy a used one that you don't know how bad someone's been beaten on it.
Well, it doesn't seem like you have a penchant for being polite to it either, so.
No, I plan on breaking it. That's kind of the deal.
Once again, back to rock crawlers being fucking stupid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Have you ever
Let's
talked
buy
to
a-
like a normal person about this shit?
Oh yeah. Oh, all the time.
It's so they cannot. They're like they think you're retarded.
It's even worse when you are retarded.
Right.
And
At
you're
least you have an
explaining it.
excuse.
Hi, I'm Luke. I like trains and Jeeps, and they're bad. Everything about this is terrible, and I love it.
Yeah, especially like being in blue collar work, you run into dudes that are into cars, and you have a lot of like crossover with car guys until it comes to the point of using it, and then
Yeah.
they can't figure out why you would be bashing it against trees.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always funny talking to someone who's into classics or hot rods or anything like that.
Yeah, we got this dude who he's one of the like corporate guys where I work, and he's one of the engineers. He's higher up in the engineering department, and he got sent over to me because everyone that was involved on the project was like, you got to talk to Luke. He's really into Jeeps and, building suspensions and all of that. And so he comes over and he's like, "Hey, you got any experience with coilovers?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know a thing or two about coilovers. What are you trying to do?" And so we started talking about it, and he asked to see a picture of my Jeep, and he's like, "That thing's just fucking destroyed. Why? Why?" And I
Yeah,
I
see, but
couldn't give him an answer.
he
Right.
asked the wrong guy because car coilovers and Jeep coilovers are two totally different things.
Not
Like,
even
sure.
related.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're
That's
like,
what I told him.
Same with like four length. I've had car guys ask me about four lengths before, and it's like, man, they're not even. We're trying to do two different things here.
Yeah, you're looking for
no,
end
so
goal.
four links do have a crossover at some point. There is a little bit of a mixture, like because you
Well, it's the same
generally
thing,
both
you're
are
just-
trying to
They
do
both
this.
have four links. Yes.
Yes.
No, but like the
Yes.
way that the suspension acts and like how the traction is put to the ground, they do generally
Squat
do
is
the same thing.
anti-squat.
Yeah,
but
Well, that's what I mean. It's the same thing. You're just shooting for a different end result. Like you
Correct.
Yeah.
generally
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want.
We want the opposite of what they
We want it to move around and do shit within reason. Whereas in like a performance application, I don't think you want that to move at all.
no, yeah, no,
Yeah, you want it to be
yeah.
planted, and you want
Mhm.
the anti-squat or anti-dive, whatever you're working with. Probably not anti-dive because you probably don't have a front axle in your race car.
Right. Right.
But maybe you do.
Depends on
Most
how
of
cool your race
performance
car
stuff,
is.
too, is like four length, parallel four lengths too. Like you don't see a lot of
Yep.
Parallel four length with a panhard bar is what most of those guys run.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
we
actually a
don't
really
do
good
that.
point.
Or a Watts link.
A
Those
Watt
are
Watts
cool.
link. What's that?
It's a 4-link.
It's a type of a 4-link, or I've also seen them done as a 3-link with the center link mounted on the center. But essentially, you run two equal length bars to the body, and there is a like cam on the axle that keeps the axle centered through travel. It
Mhm.
is the weirdest looking thing.
It's like a fidget spinner right in the middle of your
Yeah.
diff.
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
that's-
I'm gonna have
that's
to
what
look into
moves.
this. That's actually crazy. I've never
It's-
heard
it's-
of this.
Nice for I think you see it on like
Oh, people doing like bag trucks and shit,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's actually sick.
Those cantilever suspensions are cool too, where they lay the shock like horizontal.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
cool.
I think the origin of those is probably the most unique, where they were experiencing so much downforce with the like Cup GP cars that the suspension of that era couldn't withstand the forces. So they had to do that system so that way they could get less travel but more compression out of the springs. I think that's so sick. Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah. And then somehow some fucking hillbilly was like, "I'm gonna make a rock crawler with this."
I don't think that's how it
travel real
went, but-
far, bub.
That is totally how it went.
Yeah.
Graham.
Yeah. How do you know, Graham? Where were you?
I don't
So,
know. Wasn't there.
just-
Plymouth Rock's not even real. What do you know, Mister?
I just came up with a shock tuning nightmare. Cantilever, trailing arms, or leading arms.
Mm.
I mean, it's
Oh my
just
Yeah.
god,
extra
the
step.
geometry on that.
No, it's just 2 extra steps. I don't remember
Yeah.
off the top of my head how you would calculate for a
I'm just
trailing
thinking
arm, and I
that-
have no clue how you calculate for a cantilever, but it's just ratios. You just have 2
Yeah.
ratios now. It's like a
Yeah, you're-
double fraction. It's with 2
You're adding
lines.
ratios to make it so that it just becomes more and more of a nightmare. I would never actually suggest running
You're
that.
the numbers guy. You like ratios. You can tell
I
me any
like-
gear ratio I want. You tell me you can't put a trailing arm on a cantilever on a Watts link for me?
Not at the moment, no.
The fuck?
I'm terrible. I will go
Just
commit the
watch them.
honorable seppuku. But
just go put the shocks next to you in the cab and then figure out how you're gonna make the links to make it connect to your trailing arm. Come on.
Why
you
would
can tune
want
on the
them in
fly.
Okay. Oh,
You get the
okay.
fancy ones with the little knob. You have to turn. You can make it.
There you go.
You can make it stiffer or loose.
No, oh wait, that's actually smart as fuck. OR rise when they start to fade, you could then just fucking recharge them in the cab.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
actually
see?
smart. This guy's onto something. Hold on.
Mhm. Yeah, just
He's cooking.
have the adjuster for your coilover. You don't need computers. You don't have to get out of the truck to tune it. You could just be driving through whatever and just tune it on the fly. All 4. You just keep all 4 in there and just have links, fractions, ratios. Come on, Luke.
so theoretically, right,
Yeah.
like with a traditional coilover running like a 25% ratio, so we're going to call it a 40-inch coilover with 10 inches of separation between the center of the eyeball
Wait, he
and
is the good kind of autistic.
I told you.
I thought it was just like history things and like he was good at.
So you're going to have a 25% increase in the ratio going into the shock, and then you're going to have whatever ratio that the cantilever is, so we're going to call that another 25%. The problem you're going to run into is now you're starting to hit that magical like percentage where you've got a 50% increase in spring. Would it be the ratio that is of force applied directly into it for compression and rebound dampening that would have to get fucked with there? This is where we get into the I don't know categories, and just I've got
Something
no
about the
fucking
flux
clue.
capacitor.
I-
is all
Yeah,
I
you
am
lost me, bub.
I'm
Yeah.
not a mechanical engineer, but if I've learned one thing, it's everything is a lot simpler than it always looks on paper.
I'm
yeah.
trying to square the circle in my mind, and I can't do it. I'm sure that there is someone out there that can very easily be like, yeah, no, this is where you're fucking up. But it's also just such an impractical theoretical that I'm not going to bother. I'll just build trailing arms and put normal shocks on them because that's easy enough to understand. And I don't have to be special. My Jeep's already special enough, and my driving's already special enough. I don't need to make it worse.
Are you gonna do leading arms on the XJ?
I wanted to do leading arms on the XJ. I had a way that I could package them. The problem I ran into, or am running into, is my desire to continue to work on it versus my desire to go wheeling. And my desire to go wheeling is much higher than my
I hear
desire to
that.
work on it.
It's understandable.
If I can get the Jeep to behave the way that it behaved at the Web Wheelers Ball, but without the reliability problems that have been plaguing it, it's good for this season at the very least, and possibly even next season before it needs a major overhaul. And the rig itself is probably at that point just going to fall apart because there's underlying structural issues, like it's cracking the unibody apart. It is what it is. I just don't fucking care. If someone wants to use it, like it is for sale, if someone wanted to use it at a slightly lower level than I've been trying to use it at, it would be perfectly fine. Or you're just going to have to rebuild the nose. That is what it is.
How is the sale? Has anyone actually give you any offers?
I got an offer that was like, I'm not going to lie, extremely reasonable. It was 12.5, but like I don't want to let it go for 12.5. I think if it was like positive side of 13, I would have considered it more.
Mm-hmm.
But alternatively, like we're hitting the point where it's getting fucking cold, which means that we're about to hit the point where it's going to start warming up, and when it starts warming up, I'm going to want to be in the mountains, so
Right.
it's just going to end up going to the mountains. I would like to sell it, go buy a house, and do all of that stupid shit, but I'm also not opposed to, hey, I've waited this long. I'm going to keep waiting and saving up money towards buying a house, because that's going to be one of the next things. After Morgan finishes her degree, we're going to have to decide where we want to settle down, and I would like to have a fund ready to go for that time period.
That's understandable. Is the house market crazy down there? Or is it
Oh,
not
it's
bad?
fucking nuts. It's
Really?
starting to slow down and shit's starting to sit on the market to the point where like I'm willing to consider, oh hey, Morgan's printing something and I'm watching the printer paper fall back in to the printer right now. That's fucking hilarious.
You can put a shredder right underneath, so that way it's going to the shredder.
No, it was rolling over and I'm pretty sure it just like sucked one of the papers that she printed back in. It did.
Hopefully, it
I
wasn't
completely
important.
lost my fucking train of thought there. Sorry. Passing parade in my specialness. Yeah, the housing market here is absolutely insane. Stuff's finally starting to sit. There's some good stuff going on where I'm working that I'm actually like starting to enjoy a little bit. So who fucking knows what the fuck is going to go on there? And once she finishes her degree, she'll be making well over double the money. She's already got her not associates, the 2-year degree. She's getting her 4 years degree in special education, which will allow her to start teaching. So super excited about that.
The cool part is her real world experience while living with you. She already
she
knows way more than she should.
She takes her work very seriously, so seriously that she takes it home with her.
They're gonna be like, Miss, you don't have to do homework, and she's gonna be shaking. You have no idea.
But we were talking about possibly moving back to New Hampshire, but I don't know where she's fallen on that. And with the cold temperatures here, I don't think that those chances are going up. She's
it's not bad.
There's snow in Florida. Like wherever you go, there's a chance it snows.
There is. But I think
it's got to be the first time that they've ever seen anything like that, right?
So they hit records pretty much across the state with snowfall. Like the last time that it snowed was back in like the 90s, and they got like 2 inches of snow, and they're like some areas are upwards of 7 inches right now.
Wow.
Upwards of 12.
12? Oh god, I haven't really seen any updates in a while.
That's insane.
That's more than we got in our last snowstorm.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up. I wish we got more snow because it was a holiday, so I was getting double time and a half while I was out there.
We did not get any snow. I don't need any more like
I wish we got hammered,
weather inhibiting me from doing shit. I'm so tired of it.
Yeah,
I'm so tired of the
We didn't have anything last year. I think we might have had a half inch all year, and then
holy shit.
2 weeks ago we got 8 inches, and it's still out here. It sucks.
A week ago we got 5 inches where I am in Tennessee. That shut everything down. I got 2 days or 2.5 days off of work paid. It was the
Hell yeah.
wildest experience for like in New England that wouldn't be anything. Yet down
Right.
here it's fucking awful.
Oh yeah, we shut down too. I probably couldn't have got out of the driveway honestly, but I didn't try either. So
Yeah,
But-
nothing was shut down here. There was still
Yeah,
women
it was
running down the
business as
side of the
usual.
road in the middle of the snowstorm. It's like, what the fuck are they doing? Like casually just jogging. It's like,
oh,
what?
dude, they had it at like I don't know if they have it up there, but like we have like levels of snow emergencies. So like level 3, you're not allowed to drive. They won't let you drive.
What
Unless
the
you-
fuck?
Yeah. So in Ohio, if it's a level 3 emergency, you have to have a reason or like a permission to be on the road. And then at a
What
level
kind of
3,
state? And I thought Massachusetts was
Right.
bad.
and at a level 3, you are allowed to drive like off-road vehicles on the road. So like you'll just
What?
see like level 3, you'll see side by sides, tractors, whatever, just driving down the road.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's wild. But yeah, we were on a level 3 for one day, and yeah, no one worked. And
Weird. For 8
Yeah.
inches of snow?
oh yeah,
That's
Yep.
crazy.
Are you guys using the good road salts? What's
No,
going on?
probably
they
not.
do the liquid stuff.
Oh, then
Oof.
we do too. Don't say that.
No, it's only good before the snow actually hits the ground. Once the snow
Oh.
hits the ground, it's not very useful. It
The
just
biggest
runs
thing is
off
the
the side of
highway.
it.
Like the highways are good, but like I live in a small town, and like I live in the country of a small town, so like those roads are just fucked.
Yeah.
Springfield was
can't.
actually plowed pretty well this past storm, Cody.
You know who didn't? Longmeadow.
Yeah, Long Meadows was not good.
It was fucked.
Yeah, it was
It's
bad.
so bad, but not my responsibility. The schools were in great shape. Let me tell you.
It's probably big business up there plowing snow, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and the cool part is a lot of those are set up for like contracts. So pretty much you just like you can get paid throughout the year, even if it doesn't snow.
Nice.
Yeah, it works out pretty good if you set yourself up with a decent like company who does it that way. It's awesome.
So
Yeah.
we have a company that we contract out at work to come in, and like the majority of the time they're contracted for normal groundskeeping and whatnot. They're trying to plow in an F-250 with like one of those plastic V plows on it, you know, the cheap ones.
Nah, what the
Oh
fuck?
yeah, on highway tires with salt stacked in the pickup bed, and
Nice.
like
Oh no.
3 Mexicans just throwing salt out the back of the truck. And I'm like, you guys were not expecting to have to deal with this, were you?
Oh shit.
Jesus.
And then like all of our side roads when it snowed and the main roads even didn't get plowed out very well. I think they finally hit the main road like maybe 8 hours after it had started snowing. So like it was already a slushy fucking mess. But the pictures were cool.
Did you end up going wheeling?
Fuck no. I didn't even
Nice.
go bother to get the Jeep and fuck around with the Jeep because it's 30 minutes away on the opposite side of town. And I
Wow.
drive a 2-wheel drive Cummins manual.
Okay. Right.
Fuck that.
Right.
No, you could do that.
I did
I
donuts
find-
out in the field, and it lasted about 10 minutes, and then I got cold and put it back inside.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Graham, yes, it could have been done. Was it worth doing? No. That truck
No, it would've been
sucks in
worth
the
it.
snow.
It would have been worth it. You just didn't want to ruin it. You didn't want to have to do your floor pans.
Yes. You say that like it's a bad thing.
It is a bad thing.
Oh no, I like my truck. It's terrible.
My floor pans are going to be better than factory when I'm done with them. You wait.
I'd hope so.
I swear to God, I will find the rust hole that I can get at least 3 fingers in by the time.
Oh, they're
that it
still
gets
going to
back
be.
down
I'm
to
picking my
Tennessee.
battles right now. We're just focusing on the floor. Rockers are not getting attention.
So those can be falling off, just like I can
Yeah,
fit a
as
fist
long
in
as they have a
Richie's
floor.
quarters.
As long as I have cab mounts and a floor, I don't give a shit if people think that it doesn't have a rocker panel. It has most of them. It's not too bad. It's not like it's completely gone. It's not like a GM where it's just no rocker.
I was gonna say it's not
do
like my
that.
company.
No. Sorry, Richie. We could do your rocker panels.
I have the fucking well done replacements.
Well, as soon as I get the Dodge done, bring it on up. I'll do it for you. I need something to do anyways.
I fucking will.
Hell, I might come to you.
There
Okay.
might be less snow actually.
It depends on how long it comes down. I need to get my shelf space back.
Hey,
Back
you
in
Oh,
action.
yeah.
drive my Cummins while you're working on yours.
There you go. Now we're getting somewhere.
Why would I drive yours?
Drive?
Because his drives. Yours doesn't have a transmission.
True. I mean,
That's a
we can
Cummins
talk
thing,
about
though.
we can talk about this after.
But yeah, we're kind of slowing down. We're at a point where we're talking about absolute nonsense. So let's start going into the final end all be all things. All right,
End all,
mister.
be all.
I haven't asked this question in a long fucking time, so I'm excited for it. What is the best DOT off-road tire and what is the worst DOT off-road tire?
In your experience.
Nitto trail grapplers are the best for sure.
Wow. Okay.
That
Haven't
I've
heard that one
run.
in a while.
And then I mean it's the obvious for the worst, right?
You gotta tell us.
Patagucci's.
Yeah, it's got Patagonias, and I've got real world experience. They are shit. They're terrible. But I didn't blow a sidewall, so like everyone says the sidewalls are bad. I never had a sidewall problem.
Must have got a good batch.
I know, maybe I did.
Good sidewall.
Yeah, good sidewall
here.
batch, bad tread patch.
I think they
They
all
keep
were.
changing them every year. It's like they got they're probably on Gen 3 iteration 4 batch 69 and it's, who knows?
The version 2 is so much better.
They made the compound stickier.
Yeah.
It's
No, I mean, I don't know. Like if you lived in Utah or something, I get it. It's probably a great tire where it doesn't rain and it's all rock. Yeah.
It's an
More tread.
overglorified all-terrain.
Right, for sure. So it has
Like-
its points, but
Yeah.
I guess my DOT experience is pretty limited too, because it's only been Nitto, those, and then BFGs, and then I had a bunch of I run BFG KM2s, I think, and I had a lot of sidewall problems with those. So the Nittos were sweet. I don't know, they hooked up decent, and then they lasted a while. They were tough. The sidewalls on a Nitto are tough as hell.
Yeah, it took me a while and a lot of stupidity to punch through one.
For
But then
sure.
when I broke that cherry, the next one was 12 hours later.
Okay, all right.
So that was the old s'more experience.
I've never
I
been
think-
there. I want to go there.
Go there. It's worth it. There's a lot of really good stuff. It's not going to be your typical southeast wheeling. It's just a bit different, and it's fucking cool. We had the benefit of having really good traction, but it was really dry when we were there.
Right. That's like last year in general. I feel like everywhere. I don't know if it was like that up in the Northeast or not, but everywhere around here, I mean, my grass was brown. I don't think we got rain from June to August. It was dry everywhere around here.
Yeah, it was very dry down here. Everywhere we had traction, it was kind of nice. Next year, gonna be hitting it pretty decent. I know that you said you're planning to go down to GMP. Where else and Harlan?
Yeah,
missing
Harlan and
anywhere
August with August is with like Kyle and Drew.
Oh, yep.
So
Yep.
that's in August at Black Mountain. GMP is just fall time sometime. And then we're going to do like a long trip in Windrock in the middle of June. But that's all I got right now. My spring's
have to
kind
s-
of opened up right now. I got April. Don't really have anything planned.
I have to see where everything falls before I make too many promises, but
All right, I
I'm
get it.
I'm trying to go to Harlan with Drew and Kyle. At the
That'd be
very
sweet.
least, I'm planning on showing up there. The only issue I'm going to be running into is I will be going to New England at some point at the end of June or beginning of July.
Okay.
And I have to see what shape the rig is in because
Right.
I don't think F&F's going to be kind to it.
Yeah,
Probably not.
you're probably right.
It'll be
Um,
How far
I
is GMP from you?
GMP is right at, if I remember right, 3 hours.
Okay. It's like middle of the state.
Yeah, it's like middle of the state, but I kind of have to go over and then up to get to
Okay.
there, and the drive itself is not bad. I just have to be willing to commit to a weekend to go there, and right now my goal is to make AOP for at least a day trip, and then after I make AOP for a day trip, make sure the new motor's like behaving itself and all of my weird mechanical quirks are gone. Then I'm gonna start planning more stuff in the future.
Have you done anything like Alabama area?
Al- Alabama is on the list of places to go. The majority of the wheeling I've done down here has either been like at AOP or it's been going to, let's see, it's been AOP, Harlan, Windrock, and there's a small park in Georgia I went to. Otherwise, it's all been
Okay.
like out of state stuff that I've gone to.
I had a buddy go down there last weekend and he bought a rear steer bouncer and it was outside where he bought it off this dude was right outside Hawk Pride in Alabama and he went to Hawk Pride on his way home and he said it was really good.
I've been told Morris is good. I've been told Hawk Pride's good. I want to go to both of them.
Right.
I run into scheduling conflicts because I work every other weekend, which if I want to take the weekend off, for example, like I'm taking the weekend off to go to the meet and beat, because I work that 2-2-3 schedule, I have to burn 36 hours of vacation to go to the meet and beat.
Yeah, it sucks.
It is what it is, right? Because our Labor Day weekend that we're doing, I'm going to burn 12 hours of vacation and I'm going to end up with 5 days off. So it's like give and take there.
Right. Right.
The winds of it, it's just the winds of fate when people want to schedule shit. If it's scheduled when I can go, I'm going to try and go this year within reason. If it's not scheduled when I can go, I'm burning a week of vacation to go back to New England.
Yeah, I'm in like a similar, not similar, but it sucks for me. Like the union down here, we don't get vacation pay, so you just take off and get unpaid. They don't care how much time you take off, but
You're unpaid while you're off.
I'm a
Bro,
yeah.
what?
So like,
That don't even
yeah,
fucking make sense.
we
What
don't
the
have
hell?
any vacation fund. We don't have shit. It's just if you
What?
want to take the day off, you can take the day off, and you're not getting paid. No paid holidays, no paid vacation, nothing.
That's crazy.
It is
Yeah.
crazy, but it's crazy that like I'm sure like the unions and stuff are way stronger up by you guys.
Mine is but it's better than that. That's for damn sure.
But ours like that shit that I have to deal with is 100 times better than like non-unions. Like
Depends really. Like
in Columbus, I guess.
yeah.
Like the pay and stuff around where I'm at. Yeah, we don't get vacation pay, but like if you weigh them next to each other, it's worth it.
I got you. I mean, okay, that makes sense then, right? Like they're covering you in other aspects, so there's
Right.
going to be leniency in other
Right.
spots. Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
It still sucks. I mean, it still sucks going to an off-road park just taking a week off and losing, a whole paycheck for sure.
Yeah, I still remember the first time that I actually got to use vacation by like at my new job, and I was like, "Wait a second, this is weird. I'm getting paid like I'm at work, but I'm not there.
Right,
What?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?" That was
Yeah.
cool, but I see what you're getting at, and also like sometimes these big businesses just don't give a fuck, and they'll ruin people if they have the leniency, and sometimes unions will save your ass in that way.
Yeah, for sure. It's it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other, right?
Yeah, it's a great way of looking at it for sure. Shit, well, kind of. You got one more? Let's hit it.
Technical question here.
What you got? What you got?
What was the biggest change as far as all the stages in your mind with your Jeep? Like, because you had the 31s, the 33s, 35s, 38s, 40s, and then the
So
43s.
definitely the 39 Reds on a manual to this was, I mean, it's not even the same vehicle. Like I still I still haven't learned it. I got it done August, so I've probably wheeled it 5-6 times. But like it can do way more than I can do. It outwheels me all the time. So that's been the biggest like learning curve has definitely been the V8. Having power is crazy. I've never had power.
Hmm.
And then like a 43 is just like almost a cheat code in itself.
Yep.
You're just like that. You don't look for anything. You're just driving over it. I don't know. It's different for sure. Like with 39 Reds, you air them down, they're like 20 inches tall, and you just drag diff, especially with a 14 bolt. I used to drag everywhere, and you're always looking out for shit like that. And where's the rock that's gonna hang my diff on? And then you put 43s on it with an LS, and you just kind of just
Drag
bulldoze
the
everything.
rock.
Right. But like the big like have you ever seen that hill at or like that rock at GMP, that jungle wall?
Yes. Yeah, the big
So
ass
like
jungle wall there.
yeah. So like shit like that is what is weird to me, that like I have a vehicle that'll do that now. Like
Oh, yeah.
getting used to like putting it up against something and just putting it on the limiter and hoping that it's going up is just weird. Cuz when you have no power, it's just like if it doesn't crawl it, pull the winch line or it's not working.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that because we're all team no power here. We've got 4 liters and one of them's a Renix.
Okay.
Hey, it had enough power to fucking spit the harmonic balancer, so fuck you all.
It also had enough power to ruin that rear drive shaft, but that's not saying much. So
yeah,
yeah,
43s in an LS, that's like when you do that, it's just different. Shit's different.
all right, and I got one more. I'm sorry, Cody.
That's okay.
Do you have any massive like? Was there any point in there where you're like, yeah, I should have just skipped this shit?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Well, I
no,
mean, like, what's
should've-
the most egregious example, right?
I don't.
I would
don't
think the
know,
big
man.
tires on the 44s would have been it, but
Yeah, the 40 when I had 40-inch nittos on the Rubicon axles, that was when when I put the 40s on it, I'm like, okay, so this isn't a daily anymore. And then you look back at the way you started and the money you've spent to get to a set of built 44 axles, which is just stupid to ever spend money on. And then at that point, you're like, okay, I should have started from tons, a shitty sport 2-door whatever with tons and start there.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, probably when I went to tons is when I got rid of those factory axles, and then there's really no Jeep left. All that money you spend for the Rubicon, and then you get rid of the Rubicon case and the axles and all that shit, and you're like, it really hits you how stupid you are.
Yeah, it's all part of the learning.
Right. Yeah, you never
curve of it.
know. Shit, dude, I was 20,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 22, 23 years old and just needed a daily and thought it looked cool. So,
Now
And
people talk
now-
about skipping the steps, but you skip steps
Right.
and you end up paying people to do shit you'd otherwise know how to do because you didn't skip the steps. So
right. Yeah,
one way
it's
or another, you're
definitely
paying for it.
right. And like when you start from scratch and you do the whole thing, the shit you learn and the skills you acquire doing it are definitely worth it. I would have never, never learned how to weld or anything. It's all just a product of wanting to build it,
Yep.
Yeah, I get that. It's just one of those things where like I always ponder upon that, and having had the shop that I had in Terryville, I'm like, man, there's a lot of shit that I did there that I was just wasting time on. I should have just
sure.
done the stuff that I like we always talked about wanting to do, because it's not that fucking hard to do if you just sit down and do it. Like, for example, your tube frame or
Right.
that type of shit. It's more daunting when you sit there thinking about how to go and do it than it is to actually just go and do it until you get to the last 10% of bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. But you never know when you start it. I'm sure when you guys bought your first rigs, you were like you didn't even know what, anything. Like I didn't
Oh
know
yeah.
that
Yep.
I didn't know that people built chassis. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't
like
even know how to work on vehicles when I
right.
got
Yeah.
mine. I was just like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a apprentice, electrician apprentice, and like, yeah. I was like I change a tire and maybe a wheel bearing if I'm lucky. So you just I don't know. It's a cool hobby because like you definitely learn shit that your normal people don't know how to do.
Yeah, that's for sure. I remember the first time I ever explained to somebody that I swapped an axle shaft in a parking lot. And they're like, "What?" And it's like,
You did
"Yeah,
what?
I was like, yeah, that's pretty fucking normal." And then we ended up door dashing food because blah 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 blah. And they're like, "What?" It's like, yeah, no, this is completely normal, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
it's super simple thing, but
Or they're like, "Hey,
yeah.
how was your weekend?" It's like, "Oh, I don't know. I just grenaded ring gear and all that." And they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
So
How was your weekend? I got banged around on the rocks all weekend. I'm sore as fuck. I can tell where my harnesses were not properly adjusted, and I'm doing great. I probably would have been better to have stayed home all weekend before clocking back in today. Thank you for
yeah,
asking.
yeah, and $1,000 worth of broken parts.
Yes. That's the fucking problem, is it's always like you're always rolling the fucking dice and you never know what's going to explode. It's either going to be a chromoly axle shaft or it's going to be something stupid like a $5 sensor, and there's no in between.
Yep.
Um, let's see. So I know that we were starting to slow down a little bit. Make sure to go and check out Crawler Off Road. Code BCOP gets you 10% off, or BCOP 10. I'm
There
sorry,
you go.
10% off
You
at
remembered
checkout.
it this time.
Yeah, I know. Shocking. We've only been like talking and working with them for what, 7 months now, 6 months now. And I finally got it right. Let's see. So, Wyatt, this one's totally off the wall. You got any small animal
Shit.
facts for us, by any chance?
Oh man. No.
If not, that's perfectly fine.
No. Sorry, dude. No.
I don't have one.
He's stressed. He's like, I did so good talking about cheap shit. Now they're asking me about animals. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh shit. No, dude. I'm drawing a blank.
Do you have any questions for us?
No, just want to go wheeling. I'd like to hopefully meet all you guys in person. I would like to get up to Roush. I don't know how far that is from me, but I'm sure it's not too bad.
I think it's
Roush,
12
Roush ain't
roughly.
that bad.
12 hours.
Yeah, it's
I-
12.
Kyle said for him it was like 7.
Okay.
For Zyler, who lives in that rough area, it's about 12. So
Depends on where you're going, or how you're going about it, because they're up in like the center of Ohio.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
okay,
see how
so
I don't see
okay.
how it could be 12 because I can get to I can get to Manchester in 14 hours.
Oh, okay, so never mind. You're way more north than Zyler. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ye-
I'm like I don't know. I'm even with like West Virginia as far as
Oh, okay, yeah, you're way
like
further out.
north wise.
Yeah.
Yep. Cody, to give you an idea as to the relation as to like where those two are, drive the opposite direction of where you want to go to get down to Zyler's place.
Yeah, I gotcha. I thought he was just closer to Kentucky. My bad. I'm dumb.
All
So-
good, dude.
So to make it or to make up for the lack of an animal fact, you got any dad advice for us?
Oh man. Just do it, dude. It's great. Being a dad's the best thing you can do, for sure.
Oh yeah.
No. Yeah, it's awesome. If you're thinking about it, you'll never be ready. So just do it.
That's kind of that's like the number one thing that I always hear. Granted, I'm missing the other half of, making a baby, but besides
Right.
the point, that's like one of the always like, I'm like, I don't know, I'll hear somebody at work talking about something that they had to deal with their kids, and I'm like, thank fucking God, I am not ready for
Right,
that.
right.
And they're like, bro, that you'll never be ready. Like, no matter how
that's
much
so
money
true.
you save, how much time you wait, you will never be ready. And
Nah.
granted, that's daunting as fuck, but it's also like kind of enlightening
It's a
that
lot. It's a lot more scary thinking about it than it actually is. I mean, it is what it is. There's no rules. It's just like building these things. Like you can do whatever you want. Like there's no
Yeah.
rules to parenting. Do it how you want to do it, and don't listen to anybody else, and just enjoy it, and you know, try to treat them great and teach them something so they're not fucking idiots, right?
That's all the world can ask for.
Right. Right.
Children.
I think that's probably some of the best advice you can give, and we're also going through a massive period of change in the world. So I think the best possible thing that you can do for you and family is to just treat everyone well and focus on making sure that your friendships and if you're raising kids, you're imbuing them with the morals that you want to see, because it's really hard to prepare for the future, but solid friendships and good morals are never going to go out of style.